Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Business Morning on Channels Television, and we're to look at Nigerian Breweries and Consolidated Breweries planned merger. And I have here with me Mr. Olisa Ebunike. He is the President, Capital Market Writers Association. Good morning, Mr. Ebunike.
It's good to be here.
It's been quite a while.
Good to be here, but let me correct one. How many years ago? 30 years ago, that I left that post. I've gone back to my office, and I still analyze for News Agency of Nigeria.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking at Nigerian Breweries, Consolidated Breweries planned merger. Do you think the shareholders will be happy to have these two companies come together?
It's not the issue of happiness. It's about the Nigerian Breweries and Consolidated Breweries, PLC, that they're breaking the trail as far as merger is concerned. In the Nigerian economy, merger has been a textbook issue. We have never seen a real merger that is induced by the operators themselves. All we have seen is a regulated induced merger. So as far as I'm concerned, this is an excitement that I am happy that I'm alive to witness this sort of a merger. It's an industry-introduced merger, it's an economy-induced merger, and not a regulatory-induced merger. So the shareholders, because at the end of the day, what will come out of a bigger company that will be coming will be in the interest of the shareholders. We're talking about value creation, we're talking about enhanced productivity, we're talking about everything that is good for the economy and Nigerians.
Well, what do you think would have prompted these two companies to decide to come together without being induced? Because it's quite, really, you did mention that it's quite uncommon to find such measure that is not industry-induced.
I know, as somebody that has actually been following the Nigerian economic terrain yourself, you'll notice that over time, the sing-song in the Nigerian industry and the Nigerian economic climate, it has been that the average Nigerian, as an individual, as a corporate entity, prefer to own 100% of nothing rather than owning 1% of something. So this measure, what actually prompted the theory is about what is going on in the world. Synergy, efficiency, capacity building, quality, and actually playing as a global player. And Heineken cannot, the core investor in these two entities cannot be an international player and in Nigeria, because, and play as a marginal player. They want to leverage their action, they want to leverage their investment in Nigeria to compete internationally, to meet, as far as the products, to compete internationally. And Nigerians, as far as the beer industry is concerned, is there. Nigerians have known to have high quality beer production. But one of the things again is that if you have high quality production and it is just domesticated, it is not good for this nation that is actually striving to be one of the best in the years to come. By the year 2020, we want to be a major economic player, global player. And that is actually what I thought, and I believe strongly, that drove Heineken into bringing these two companies together for synergy.
Now we're going to have a company called Nigerian Breweries. What perhaps could happen to the shareholders of Consolidated Breweries?
Like I've been discussing with my friends, what I actually said is that if you look at, first and foremost, you have a company that is not quoted on the Nigerian Stock Exchange and a company that is quoted on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So there is a great divide between the two. You cannot in any balance equate the two shares together. So by this measure, the shareholders of Consolidated Breweries technically are having a premium on their shares, because what they're going to do is that for every share, they're going to, it's going to be a change for the Nigerian breweries shares. It's going to be at a premium to them because you're going to have a value for your money. You're going to have a product, you're going to have the shares of a quoted company, and Nigeria is the destination, investors' destination. So that is actually the best option for them as at this moment. Because prior to now, yes, Consolidated Breweries, they're playing in the market, they have a lot of products that are competing, but when you look at the gamut called Consolidated Breweries, will you measure it with any, is it Nigerian Breweries shares or is this Guinness Breweries shares that you work with? So when you analyze both shares of both companies, they are not in the same terrain at all.
Yeah, well, yesterday we saw Nigerian Breweries shed. Well, that's just #1. You know, what lost it? I mean, what came to your mind when you saw that drop?
You cannot take Nigerian Breweries drop at the Nigerian Stock Exchange in isolation. It's part and parcel of what is going on as far as the Nigerian economy is concerned. What actually is happening on the Nigerian capital market now is an interplay of the dynamics of global economy. But ours is what because we depend solely on oil. And the fall in oil to about $79 this morning, our security challenges, and the policy and the fear, the anticipation of what will be come 2015. All these things, when you do a calculus of them, they have a serious impact on the entire quoted companies on Nigerian Stock Exchange. So you cannot discuss Nigerian Brewery shares in isolation. If you discuss in isolation, you are not getting the point. You will look at the whole game, to look at the terrain, and look at the players in the industry, and you take it from what actually is happening to the economy to understand where Nigerian Breweries is at the moment.
Now, considering that most Nigerians and, of course, Nigerian companies prefer to own 100% of voting, what lessons are there in, for business combination for the organized private sector?
You see, that is what we're saying. If you look at, let me use Sao Ojukwu, first of all, the first president of Nigerian Stock Exchange. With all his effort, he provided the highest seed money for the floating of Nigerian Stock Exchange. But as of today, as we discuss now, none of his companies is quoted on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. He died a natural death. So what this business combination is all about, and to create value, to create a company that will compete internationally, not only in Africa. We're not talking about Africa, we're talking about international competition of Nigerian Breweries product. That is the bigger company that will emerge from this. So first and foremost, we are going to create value for not only the shareholders, for the investment, but for the workers, for the Nigerian economy. Because the synergy we are bringing in now is the synergy will come with capacity building. It's a synergy that will come with efficient production in technical arm. It's a synergy, like I said before, that will give the investors of these two companies, or the final company that will call Nigerian Breweries PLC, the volume, it's going to make the shares of the Nigerian Stock Exchange highly liquid on the Nigerian capital market. And that is what everybody is looking for. We want a combination, not a regulatory combination, where stakeholders in the real sector will look at themselves. And I believe that as our economy is growing day by day, all they need to do is to talk together, come together, and look at their companies and see what they should be able to do to form a bigger company that will create employment for the average Nigerians, that will expand the domination that we'll have in the West African region, and so to say African region, and produce a product that when you say Nigeria, that people will look at Nigeria for quality product. And that is what all these things, what Heineken silently did, and they're bringing it back.
Now, you know that when you talk about a merger, there's this kind of jittery that comes within the employees in particular. Now you have Consolidated Breweries employees, you have Nigerian Breweries employees. Don't you think that this merger will probably have some kind of implications for some of these employees who may probably, lose their jobs?
Actually, the truth is there. They have started, because the bigger company we are talking about, who are the people that are going to work in the bigger? They are Nigerians. So they have factories scattered all over Nigeria. So what they have done, the Heineken Group, is that first and foremost, they've been able to debrief the workers. As far as I know, except people that want to voluntarily opt out of this, the opinion that it will lead is obsolete. Because you have a lot of factories.
So are they going to?
They are going to consolidate them, because how many breweries do you have? How many plants of Nigerian breweries do you have in Nigeria? How many plants of Consolidated human beings are going to work there. So what we are talking about is efficiency in marketing, efficiency in distribution, efficiency in production. So we need human beings. What it means is that the people working there are going to have an international exposure, are going to have exposure to quality machines of production. They're going to have exposure to quality control. They're going to have exposure to capacity development as far as the brewery industry is concerned. So we need human beings that will be trained, that will be exposed to all these international best practices in production of beer and malt and other beverages that goes on in the brewery industry. So they need human beings that will actually work. So to me, as somebody that has followed the Nigerian economy and monitored the capital market for decades, the issue is about development. The issue is about creating synergy. The issue is about expanding the employment space for Nigerians. That is what this synergy is concerned. Now, there should not be any fear at all.
What about the distributors? I mean, these companies have their various distributors.
Yeah.
So what happens to them?
That is why it is called business combination. Merger is called business combination. It means that you have to transmit from the distributor of Consolidated Breweries to the distributor of the Nigerian Breweries a larger entity with greater returns on investment. So it is as simple as that. There's not going to be any fear, except voluntarily you decide to opt out of that entity. As far as this merger is concerned, it's going to be a huge gain for Nigerians and Nigerian economy.
And even the minority shareholders of both companies, how is it going to benefit them? What benefit is accruing to them?
Like I've said, I'll keep on repeating myself. I said it initially. The Nigerian Breweries shareholders is game for them, because you are bringing in the share capital of the new entity will be expanded. There will be more liquidity on the shares of Nigerian breweries. For the shareholders of the retail shareholders of the Consolidated, it's going to be technically, mark my word, technically it's going to be at a premium, because you are now migrating from a shareholder of an unquoted company to becoming a shareholder of a quoted company with greater value, with greater visibility, and returns on your investment. That is what all this business combination is all about. I believe that the people that will be celebrating this business combination will be the shareholders of Consolidated Breweries.
So they'll be happy to vote.
They will be happy to vote.
Right. I understand that Heineken, that's the majority shareholders in both companies, is not voting at the court-ordered meetings, even though they have the right to vote. Why?
It's to show you it's about transparency. It's about accountability. They are the major shareholders, that are co-investors in these two entities that are coming together. What they show you is that they believe, they are trying to restate their commitment as far as this merger is concerned. What they're trying to do is to give voice to the retail shareholders, for the retail shareholders to come up and actually take positions that will impact on them, not now but in the future, because the capital market and investment is not about today, it's about the future.
All right. Now, is there room for some shareholders to opt for cash settlement if they so wish?
In a business combination like this, there is always a window. There is always a window. To be candid with you, I've not been opportune to discuss with some of my shareholders' friends. But in a merger like this, there is always a window of opportunity for people that want to exit. Because what you see, people that are opportune to have actually sit down and project what this business combination will look like 6 months down the lane, 1 year, 5 years down the lane, even looking for an opportunity to acquire more.
No, but don't you think that even with this plan, that might cause some kind of speculation for that stock?
No, speculation is there, but in this kind of measure, there is a scheme of arrangement. And that scheme of arrangement, according to the rule of law, it will be duly followed, due process will be duly followed. But whatever it is, I keep on saying, technically, it is game for the Consolidated Breweries shareholders, for them to take that opportunity. Some of us are shareholders of Nigerian Breweries. Some of us are looking forward to see what we can gain. We're taking position. We're ready to take position because the Nigerian capital market is gradually coming back, returning to where it used to be. And there's a lot of hope that we will hit the road once again.
All right. Now, Nigerian Breweries share is about 164 naira now. Now, if this merger plan would, happen, where do you see the share being?
Yeah, I don't want to be a prophet of doom. I don't want, because we have not finished with the combination. But the projection is that it's going to be bigger. The price, taking into consideration what actually is happening in the economy. You cannot project outside the economic climate. We are still down economically. The production of Nigerian breweries is still going on. They're going to have an efficient distribution. They're going to have a marketing. They're going to benefit from the scale of marketing of Nigerian breweries. So when you factor all these things and you do a projection, you will now know that 6 months down the line, 3 months down the line, definitely Nigerian, the share price of Nigerian breweries will be in between, maybe on the first 6 months will be around 200 naira.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep tracking that share price.
Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Mr. Ebunike. It's been wonderful having you on the program.
It's good to be back to China.
All right, well, I've been speaking with Mr. Olisa Ebunike. He is a capital market analyst with News Agency of Nigeria, and we've been looking at the merger plan between Nigerian Breweries and Consolidated Breweries, which I suppose, and of course he has said here, is going to be a big one, and that he believes that the shareholders would definitely vote for that. Well, it's in that note that we draw the curtain on today's edition of the program. Thank you very much for being part of it. I'm Chimizi Obiwawu. Have a good day.